joke. We'll move on into the new stuff. It's time for Open Zone, our very first set of the day.
Ooh, and the people at home, this one's going to be a close one in their eyes. 43% versus 57%. I think that's pretty fair. 60-40 feels about right in my mind. I like Wash Team in this spot. I think West Coast have a real chance at it, but Wash Team, to me, somebody that I expected coming into this year to have a chance at that LCQ or that world spot for this region. They really impressed me as a whole. You know, obviously not all of them together last year, but coming into 2023, I think they all got kind of split up from their past teammates by choice, or if they wanted to go on their own, whatever reason. It's worked out for them so far, and I think this is going to be a good month to prove themselves.
Certainly is. I mean, Wash Team, they named themselves that because it's like you said, they got kicked from their past teams, or at least maybe not kicked, but were left out of the equation in the end. But we have seen them take some big wins this year, proving one point exactly, which is that they're not as washed as Spin LC for that matter. Let's talk Washed Team, though. It's time for their pick. They got to go into Shine on the B. It's definitely a favorite of West Coast FA.
Yeah, I gotta think so, and I think a very safe pick too. Open zone, there's a lot of different strategies that could be incorporated. You can see in the ban phase too, it's not necessarily sharpshooters that are all being dialed out of the equation. We see some Lou, we see some Penny, and we get the Meg in as well. Meg is one of my favorite brawlers to watch in Hot Zone. There's just so much she can do.
Pretty much. I mean, she is able to consistently regenerate 7,000 health, and even when she pops out of the mech, quickly fires at that super once again. Has comparable range to what Shine is going to be offering on the B, and I like it a whole lot. Betchiz also on the stew, I think takes one of the major brawlers out of West Coast FA's typically preferred brawlers. Amber is a pick that I really like on this map as well. Can burn down the bushes and negate a lot of the value for someone that's playing on a lane, like Betchiz might opt to do. West Coast FA, though, I think they've lost one of their most favorite brawlers to pick here, which is Stu, so now they got to get a little crafty.
Yeah, West Coast Stu does hit pretty different. I think Shine definitely somebody that stands out for me when he plays that brawler, but instead they're going to elect to go with Amber here. Obviously, Batucha snatching that brawler himself. Here's a Janet as well. I think Janet is very versatile in the sense that when she gets that super, she can travel anywhere on the map. She can be indestructible as well, just like a lot of the walls we're seeing in the meta right now too. I think a very well-rounded comp and a very safe one at that for West Coast.
Certainly so. You can't really go wrong with Janet unless the enemy team decides that they're going to pick up a Squeak, which is a real possibility, but Lola seems to be what they're going with. I like this brawler, or maybe I should say I don't really have big opinions on this brawler. It's not like I love it. It's not like I hate it. It is a brawler to me, but that's always how Lola's been to me, so take that all with a grain of salt. That said, Wash Team, I think, have a pretty solid comp here. West Coast FA, much of the same. I think it's going to be a big pain point for West Coast to be dealing with the Meg on the side of Washed.
Yeah, it's going to be an interesting one. Lola, just a brawler to you, all right. Do you hate it as much as F-Dot hates Eve, or is it a different level?
Oh, no. It's not even that I hate it. I'm just so indifferent to it. It's like Rolls 2021. This brawler's all over the place. Then she gets nerfed. Then she's kind of but sometimes people still play her. Whew. Okay, that was a mouthful. Wash Team, fire away on the left side already with the Lola. Counter, tries to contest things. Trying to sneak up the left lane with the beam. Already, Betchiz makes big waves on the right side, dashing forward with the Stu speed zone in hand. And Payne looks for an ambush from the right. He also has his super fired up.
The immediate elimination is going to pave the way for them to take a small lead for now, but Payne looking to end that. Chepo trying to dish out a super, doesn't connect. Shine getting cleaned up, looking for another here too. Chepo all the way back on that healing zone. Something that's unique about this map that we don't get to see across the board, and it's going to keep Chepo alive as a result.
Payne has a backup now, too. He's forced away from Chepo. Not going to get that next super quite as easily. Chepo still rushing up the right side, burning open some of that fire fuel, but not burning open the right lane. Takedown by Payne. Betchiz remains alive. Shine circling overhead, not going to get the takedown. Also taken down in turn by Payne. Counter getting majorly targeted here. And all of this aftermath, though, Wash Team is still only have a minor advantage on the point, even though it looks like they've had some pretty decent control of the area for a while.
My man Counter is a braver man than I don't know with 75 HP if I would have been trying to make those plays, but honestly, got some good value, kept him in a corner there for a little bit, and now Shine's gonna be able to touch down in the hot zone along with Chepo. Gasoline on the right-hand side to cover up that map, but Payne entering the monster trucker. I guess a Beetle in this case. A lot of the times they're gonna be choosing that skin as their choice. Batucha is now in the mid. Small lead here for Wash Team.
And it could compound too as Counter falls on the left side. Shine goes for the ambush from the bush. Frixie tries to stand strong. Betchiz also looks for a pinch versus Chepo, but he's firmly locked behind some of these unbreakable walls. Shine Also, finding a kill on the back lines. Frixie standing on top of that healing, wasn't quite able to do a touchdown too, as Shine gets about 500 health from stepping on that pad, but he won't be able to force Pain and Betches off the point alone. In fact, he falls to the effects of Pain. The domination too, as counter falls too. I see family photos on the wall too. This is definitely someone's home. This isn't an Airbnb. This is, someone said like, hey, LAN party at my place. Also, let's try and win like thousands of dollars and cement our names in the history books in North America. No big deal. All from the kitchen table. Sometimes you can make magic happen there. Let's see what Wash Team plans to do this time, though. They have Pain up the right side already. Big damage on Chepo and Shine, but they haven't been able to touch the point just yet. Betches might be the first to do it. Shine's ready to tag up anyone who dares do so. Big damage in for Pain. Still, no eliminations. And Counter owns this left side as he takes down Frixie.
Tucha skating across the map, but meets his end. Counter with a pickup there as Shine able to hold on to this hot zone for now. Chepo wants a super and more, but Pain's just standing on this point, healing up as much as possible. But Chepo doing a good job of at least neutralizing Meg out of that robot. Not enough to get the kill, of course, but still going to continue to allow West Coast to hunker down on this point. They're approaching 50%.
Here comes the super to the skies. Shine, he's not on that point anymore, but he might be able to pick up a kill that makes it worth it. Here comes Pain on the right side, taken down. That's just majorly pinched. Shine from the top and Chepo from the bottom. Next enemy, Frixie. Take it down, easy peasy, downtown with a powered up B. West Coast FA, look, dominating, even more so by the second.
Huge reversal from the stuff we saw in game number 1. Pain trying to do his best to put a stop to that as Batucha slides forward. Shine immediately goes to the sky. He has an eject button anytime he wants when he has that super. Now he's going to be trying to go to the top right-hand side. Immediately scouted out, though, as Batucha gets that kill. This is a real opportunity for Wash Team on this map, especially in this mode. We all know what happens if you get a team wipe and a complete domination of that mid-control.
It's pretty much this. Wash Team, they've managed to push things back a lot, but Betches, he's not lining up these shots on Shine like he's trying to. Chepo now with a pinch from the bottom side, and West Coast FA completely overtake mid. They get right through that freeze frame from Fixie and finish the job too, taking him down. Counter on the right side also with a slow on the Betches. Big damage. The final bits of percentage coming in from West Coast FA, and the most dominating game that we have seen so far.
Gameplay is a stew, so when you're kind of just stuck there, not being able to slide across the map, skate around with your supers and cause some havoc, it really makes a difference. So I'm going to need to see a reset here from Wash Team. Obviously, they showed what they could do. This has been two completely polar opposite games. It's been West Coast in the second. It was Wash Team in the first. Let's see who wins the third.
It's how things can go sometimes. They just go back and forth, and it's like you said, one small mistake can completely shift the tides of things. Already, we see one small lane victory on the right completely turn into a wave that encompasses not only the mid, but also the left lane. But Counter's real sneaky. Tries to approach the top side. Could be a takedown of Frixie, but he didn't have that ammo quite enough. Betches also get caught up in some of this action. Chepo has to move back. Shine also supremely on the back foot, but they stay alive. West Coast FA, they seem to be addicted to staying on low health and not pushing in, but at least they get the kills that matter to enable them to take back mid control. It won't last long though, because Wash Team now crosses the 50% mark.
I'm a little sad Pain got into the robot, actually. He was really hitting the shots with the pea shooter that Meg has before getting into the giant robot. It's really impressive stuff to see him hit those shots. There's a couple tags as well. Chepo Shine trying to take a stand here, though, as Batucha and his teammates could really run away with the lead if they're not careful.
Shine's already trying to disrupt things in the back lines. Pain gets some good supercharge in there. He'll be firing up that mech as soon as he respawns, most definitely. Betches has a super of his own, too. Needs to chain it together. Maybe versus Counter, could be versus Shine. On the left side, he's looking to be a big menace, dashing forward. Not able to get the kill, though. Pain takes down Counter, however. Big swipe attempt, but it wasn't quite enough. Now crossing the 85% mark for Wash Team. This has got to be a win for them, because West Coast FA simply don't have enough time. They don't have enough firepower to bring it back.
Strong start for Wash Team. Most looked pretty good in the numbers, too, and I think reflecting why that one was a 2-1 situation.
Well, it's time to turn things around if possible for West Coast. It's heist time, and Safe Zone is where it's all going to be going down. Now, we already saw Safe Zone today, but I don't think we really saw Safe Zone. You picking up what I'm putting down? Like, we didn't see the way that Safe Zone is typically played, so did we really watch to begin with? Okay, here's the thought. Yep, it's a Safe Zone that we know and love. I can take a deep breath. I can exhale. No more stalemates. Phew.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, we saw Safe Zone, but definitely something very unique. I've never in my lifetime seen 100 to 100 tie. That was probably one of the wildest things I've ever seen. One thing to note too, we've got a lot of indestructible walls on this map, so while it is Safe Zone, it's also not Safe Zone, and we see Brock come through here too. One of the biggest values that typically teams are looking for is to break open that kind of 4x2 side on the right hand for each of the respective locations, and you can't break that anymore, so it's only 2 lanes that are accessible. It's why brawlers like Eve enter the ban stage at this point, because she's one of the few that can get across that water.
Well, you can't go wrong with Brock Chepo, who I really hope we see that brawler pairing because it has a bit of history behind it. On Wash Team, though, they go with the Penny, very consistent brawler. You're able to get that turret and place it behind the unbreakable walls, and it's double thick, right? It has 2 walls, so you're not able to fire through it with Brock's splash damage, and you might just barely be able to get a squeak shot through there. Pain, though, with the selection of 8-bit, I think this is a power player here, but we saw what Amber is able to do versus the 8-bit. Oh no, like this could be a bad omen right here. The Amber shut down the 8-bit on mid the entire time, and by shut down, I mean just prevented 8-bit from doing anything and didn't get any kills or anything. Okay, at least we'll have the Bonnie to accelerate some of the gameplay.
Yeah, I mean, we kind of started with a pretty normal draft, but it's really finished up to see Amber on Safe Zone, which is something that I would say in most months we don't typically see. Bonnie gets an appearance here and there, but, you know, we're certainly used to seeing brawlers like Piper come out here, even the occasional Nani for the sharpshooter side. So we're going to get to see the Circus Act Bonnie instead, and the Daryl as the response. I love this. Very fun brawler to watch. I think going into the squishy Brock could be fun. Amber without a lot of HP. And, of course, Bonnie, while is beefy, only deals a little bit of Daryl's total HP with 3 shots. Daryl can certainly hang in there against all 3 of these brawlers have played right.
Show me the pain, Daryl, please, please. But it doesn't have to be him. We've seen both of these other players on the Wash Team roster make do with some tanks from time to time. I think one of the more surprising things to me from West Coast FA is that they decided that they weren't going to play any tank counters. This is a deliberate decision. I don't think that they are literally forgetting that tanks are extremely meta, particularly Daryl. So how do they plan to deal with it is a question of the day. Counter takes the right lane to start things off. Chepo trying to get some splash damage versus Betches on the left, and Shine gradually trying to push through the 8-bit at mid. It's going to be difficult for Shine, but he does pop the gadget to speed things up, maybe get a pinch versus Betches on the left side. So far, mostly individual lane interactions. Counter feeling a lot of the pressure, goes down early on the right side, and this is an opportunity for Pain to roll through.
And he's going to slide by a few 2K shots, but going down to counter respawn. Going to pave the way to 10% of a lead. Now Chepo firing back too. Here comes all the packages being delivered to that high safe. It's going to allow them to take a small lead for now, 90 to 84.
Pain on the right side, taken down. Shine hanging on by a thread. Frixie with suppressing fire to keep him back and eliminating fire to take him down. Wash Team don't really have any opposition on the right side, with the exception of counter. Frixie tries to take advantage of that. A little bit of extra damage, but still, they don't have an opportune area to place that turret down because they know it'll get burned by counter's fire fuel. So they keep it very defensive, and they are just marginally at a deficit. We could see Pain roll in and make some big action happen. Chepo once again tries to get some damage in versus Frixie. In fact, he's able to get that last bit of splash damage to take him down. Down goes the turret too. Pain with a big play in, but counter tanks it all, and Shine left alone in that cannonless form.
Wild to see all that work go down, and it is still 88 to 84. We've moved about 2% as Shine looks to attempt to climb up in the damage threshold, and he's going to be back in the tank form, but Tuches walking it up, the salty barrel going through. Shine somehow still staying alive. He might even pick up a kill on Tuches if he's not careful, and he does. Shine going to be able to be a pest now as Chepo lands a necessary shot. Shine with the follow through, and a great tag team there. This is looking really difficult for Wash Team to play defense on.
Stupendous dodges here from Pain as he even gets the kill on Jack Chepo, but he's still taken down. Down falls counter in turn, and there's a turret on the right. Another one at mid too for Frixie to get some damage bonus, but he might not be able to impact that save. Counter tanks while he still has the respawn shield active, and big damage on Pain too to match. Pain's got to be close to a super though. He might have just enough time to roll through as his clock ticks down. Just 10 seconds remain, and Wash Team is barely at a deficit. Here comes Frixie with the Hail Mary play. Shine decides not to jump in. Down goes Chepo. This could be it. 3, 2, 1, and Wash Team still cannot bring it back.
Right corner, and especially when you don't have any wall break options. If you're the enemy team, you're able to hover around that area and just kind of play a little ring around the rosy with your opponents. It forces them to bring at least 2 brawlers. Your teammates can move up. I think that was a big play there for West Coast.
See if they're able to replicate it. Already, Chepo suppressing Betiches on the left side. Chinese taking a bit of entry damage. Counter's going to burst things down. He's just holding down the auto-aim, spraying and praying. Will they come true? Well, 900 health left on Frixie. I think he'll make it do, but big damage contributed by Chepo. Special delivery once again. Surprise, it's a bunch of damage coming in on your safe. 86% remains in a distinct advantage so far for West Coast FA.
Yeah, you talked about the matchup between Amber and 8-Bit beforehand, and I'm really starting to see why it can pay off so well. It's very difficult for 8-Bit to dodge. Obviously, he's very slow, and a ton of things transcribing there. It's going to lead to a 2v1 situation, though. Batuchez now facing off against a sugar-rushed Bonnie, and it's going to be Shine taking away that one, 93 to 86%. This continues to be a close set.
Watch team are very distinctly on the back foot, but Payne's going to try and disrupt this. Almost a takedown to counter, but Frixie's able to finish the job. Close range combat by Shine. There's one, and it's enough time for Chepo to get a few more shots on that save. Payne, though, he's back in the mix, but he's looking for a home. He looks a little lost going over to the right, now moving over to the left, where he's once again suppressed by counter, looking for big damage with the roll. Here he comes. Counter once again takes him down in close range. This doesn't usually happen when you're a Daryl rolling onto an Amber, but the positioning is absolutely perfect from West Coast FA. It's going to give them a bit more damage on Watch Team safe.
Yeah, they're definitely a team that's going to have to hold positioning. They can't let Daryl slide through, and 8-Bit can deal a ton of damage at a moment's notice, and in that moment, it's going to be a huge pickup for them as well. 3v3 situation, but it's going to be taking place in West Coast spawn. The damage pouring in now, slowly climbing their way out of this one, but if you're a West Coast fan, that's a good start to this successful defense as Shine got the kill.
Chepo claiming yet another victim right on his heels. Payne also getting jumped over, but Payne, he's able to slip through the cracks. This could be big damage. Here it comes with a gadget too, and a lot of damage pours in. It gets him the advantage for now, but it's almost taken back by West Coast FA. They're behind by 2%, and the countdown's active, but Betiches is doing anything he can to hold this line.
It's going to come down to the wire. 41 versus 45%. One good offense from either side can do the trick. Right now, it's Watch Team playing defense. The dive into Bonnie, though, it was so close, but just out. Yeah, definitely a tight race once again. We've had some real down-to-the-wire moments today, Reddy, and that one was no exception. Starting things off strong here, it's going to be Amber rushing with the flames, and it's going to be Shine on the sugar rush in the middle, trying to boost themselves up across this map as much as possible. If they can start off on offense and capitalize, hold positioning as long as they can, it's going to be very beneficial for them for the duration of this match.
Already, big taps on Watch Team. Nothing major just yet, no kills. Frixie, wow. Almost a full clip there onto Chepo. Payne also rolls forward, but Shine holds strong. Big connections on Betiches too. He gets caught up in the 1v3. Chepo also takes down that turret from Frixie. Frixie going to get jumped on and taken out from behind. Counter also rolled on. Payne looking for the double kill, and he is able to claim it in the end. Though not quite enough time to get major damage on that safe. He's still going to send it, get whatever he can. That's a lot of damage, and 14% knocked off the safe, and it still is not enough to put them in the lead. They're just 1% behind a time.
Yeah, as good as West Coast have played throughout this, I feel like they're not getting a ton of offensive pressure. You know, Bonnie, unless she's outside of that tank, can't do a ton. They need Amber to just be pouring fuel onto that heist safe. And of course, Brock can get the job done a little bit with Incendiary, but they have 8-Bit, they have Daryl. One really quick 5 seconds can really give Watch Team a win. So it's going to take a perfect defense as Frixie looking like he's playing some perfect offense.
Oh, he certainly is. He almost took down Shine too, but he had to stop short. That way, everyone could regroup and gear up for some mid defense. Counter around the left side, able to get the ignition onto Betiches. Big damage too as he wanders around inside the incendiary and roll onto the safe too by Payne, dropping it to 71%. Frixie contributing his share too, dropping it to 64. They're only 4% behind. West Coast FA could still bring it back. It's already going to be tough with Shine not in the cannon form. Payne gets bursted on the right, though. Here's the fire fuel to match to keep Payne suppressed. But it will be able to survive this. Counter looks to finish the job on the right. Taken down now by Frixie. Watch Team still hold strong. They hold this defense.
Wow, so many amazing kills going down right now, and it's going to come down to a final 30 seconds. Payne certainly going to be looking to get a roll in here, but West Coast is going to have to hold strong. They can't give up positioning.
Watch Team need a really big push in, otherwise Shine could get that last bit of damage on the safe. Chepo is on pretty low health, and so is Shine. 10 seconds left, Payne with the roll in. He's not able to survive all that onslaught, but Shine isn't either. Chepo now with the super, and Frixie's the last man standing on Watch Team, but he's not able to get there in time as the clock ticks down. And we said well-deserved, and I'll second that even, but it will take us in to Super Beach for set number 3. And if you thought that last set's draft was a little adventurous, gear up for this one, strap in, because it's going to be a wild ride. Super Beach has some of the most strange picks on any Brawl Ball map, and it's been that way for kind of a while.
I could not agree more. This map gets crazy. You can see it in the band stage. The old man Dyna not going to get played here. Makes me a little sad that it's not a possibility. I love to dream that he could end up being on the field, but recently there's been some shifts on this map too. I mean, we've seen more Sandy in other regions. It's commonly practiced in East Asia. We saw it the other day as well. You know, B is the first pick. I'm not necessarily in my mind saying, oh, this is a Sandy map, but it just adds to the pool of brawlers that you have to consider. You see Barley and Dynamite, like we said in that band stage too. It really just shows how many different plays you can make on this map, but so far just the traditional stuff. B and Max, two staples of Brawl Stars' current esport.
Yes, and honestly the matchup here is a little bit debatable. I think really the Victor and the B and Max matchup comes down to who has the better mechanics, but Wash Team, they got to be careful not to lean too much into those tanks, but they do have Pain on the roster, and Pain is really good at playing those tanks, so they might still choose to do so. I don't want to let go of the idea of Dynamite just yet, though. I know he has been banned, but we did see the Michael a little bit earlier. We saw CMG try him. We saw CMG not succeed with that. However, I don't think the idea of throwers is yet done for here. Wash Team might decide to pick it up for themselves because they do have that last pick, and they could counter out West Coast pretty hard if they don't go for any wall break.
Yeah, I would be curious to see if they went with a thrower who they could go with. I feel like Dynamite and Barley, the traditional ones, but we've also seen Dynamite and Barley show up on maps where they traditionally haven't in the past. We saw Barley in Knockout earlier today, which is definitely a little bit wild and mind-blowing at this point for me that people are even willing to go for their fourth best brawler after Grom, Tick, and Sprout were banned. So it's clearly a priority for a lot of these teams. They're going to be picking the Spike up too, and I don't know, if they do end up going a thrower, that's just another brawler they can counter. I think it's unlikely, but I think you make a good point that it's something we have to watch out for in today's meta.
Well, without Barley, I don't really see them playing a thrower into Ashe, considering that Barley, you know, he's not really that useful in most places when you have better throwers in play, but if it comes down to something like Ashe or something like Spike, you're still able to shut people down because you can slow things down and prevent really aggressive plays in yourself. You can drop those bottles right at your feet and prevent a push. Wash Team, though, they have that final selection. They might opt to go something that is a tank counter. They might opt to go something for a tank itself. Carl is their selection here. I think Carl, as long as he's kept at a distance from Shine, will still be able to do fairly well, but in close range, I'm not really sure who I rank as winning. You got Protective Pirouette, you have the supply drop from Colonel Ruffs as well, but still might not be the most ideal to go aggro there.
Yeah, I'm a little conflicted on how I would feel about that matchup too. I think the Protective Pirouette star power is a must in this spot, but I do see the vision a little bit for Carl maybe playing against the Spike as well. You've got a couple options that they can go with. They could sandbag it up going into a single shot brawler like B and Spike if they wanted, but obviously Ashe can just swipe right through that. And then in addition, Carl can pierce the Spike life plants as well. So a couple matchups they're gonna have to look out for. But Tuchez electing to go with that Rocket Rain early pickup for counter as well, dribbling down the field, kicks it up, not even close to the goal though. So unfortunately, not gonna have the distance there, and it's gonna lead to a possible counter push for Wash Team.
Ooh, Chepo now with the takedown onto Pain. Shine stays alive. Brixie also just barely alive, has to stay out of range of Chepo and counter at the same time. Looks like they're a little bit overwhelmed on the range matchup here. Counter now throwing down the Honey Molasses, looks to close out this mid area, but Pain isn't falling just yet. Here's the speed. Pain juggling the ball on the goal line, but he's all alone up here. He's gonna try and intercept it, but cannot quite do so. A little lag walk around, some psychological warfare, but more than likely running down the clock because now they can afford to play defensive with a goal on the scoreboard.
Yeah, I'm not sure if that was intentional or not from Pain, but I don't think either way it super makes a difference. I mean, they ended up cleaning all three brawlers standing, and right now Shine with a lot of HP going against a lone Max, a face shift forward, trying to be the hero, but can't quite
through this third set. Well, Wash Team, they've had a moment to sit back and think about it. I want to say how interesting it is that the team that's literally running the brawler that makes you faster is not able to keep up with the speed of West Coast FA, but I might have to take that back and eat my words. Counter is the first to fall here. Brixie got to be close to that first super.
Yeah, they're going to rely on max speed here. Immediately going down. Chepo with a strong defense, but Pain retaliates with two of his own, not just one. Tailspins his way through it all. Nicely played there, and they still have yet to get across this kind of half-field line and try and generate a little offense here. This is the first time as Pain's going to set that ball up on that bottom right-hand corner.
Here comes the wall break too. Pain just lurking in a few of these bushes. Chepo also dedicated towards keeping this lane at bay. But Pain also has the power up. Let's keep that in mind as well. His counter is also kind of using this newfound openness of the map to look for some different targets. Frixie, though, also pushing in from the top. Pain tried to slip that ball in from the bottom. Wasn't quite able to do it, and Counter's just out of range. Frixie tries to punish, but he slowed down. Attack from the top side as well from Pain, but it's still not enough. Could be a pass up to Shine. Shine might be able to walk it through. Now Betiches with the super, and it almost breaks Betiches' ankles. A very close recovery.
Yeah, I was going to say, they owed you one, Ruddy. That first game was quick. They made it super entertaining to kick off our second game here. Wow, so many close calls. My heart was racing throughout all of that. Now Chepo dropping a super and a gadget to try and stay up a little bit longer. The max speed not really helping them out too much here. I guess they get out of their goal, but a super shot through, slides through the shot, Counter with the bucket. Insane plays from West Coast here in our third set.
That's going to be tough to come back from for Washed team. That is a massive, massive blunder. They don't have much time to recover. Shine taking a lot of damage on the left side. Frixie trying to contribute, especially because he needs that super. Pain survives and Counter's on low health. Could be a pinch up from the top left. Counter still a little sneaky around here with the final elim. Frixie has to power this one through. Just 25 seconds left. Speed on the Betiches, but they're both on very low health. It's not really much for a push in. They're just trying to maintain position. 20 seconds remain, and a kill on the Betiches might seal the fate.
Well, that countdown's going to start, and Shine's not looking to slow down. Here comes a tag from him, sweeping away the enemy right now. Frixie being chased down by Robotic Rats. Tough call for him. Alone Batuches at this point. Chepo even a little bit of extra work there, just playing it safe.
No matter how you spin it. Also, I mean, did y'all see those stats? They were not so good for Wash team. Unfortunate for those guys, but at least the pace is going to slow down quite a bit as we head into knockout. Bell's Rock, to be exact. But the drafting can also get a little tricky on this map too. Not quite as weird as Super Beach. However, you can get tricky with your last picks. We see the throwers emerging here a lot in the ban phase on West Coast FA side. I said nothing. Ooh, and a great first pick by Wash team. I'm already liking it for Washed.
I gave it a chuckle because immediately you said, you know, we were talking about the draft picks and throwers being an option, last picks being sneaky, and you just see all three of them getting banned on the left-hand side. The security cameraman, first pick for West Coast, and again, I expect Bounty and KO to be the two modes where we could possibly see RT. So we're going to have another case to kind of figure out if we like him in the meta, if we think he's strong, what he can do. I feel like it's been a little back and forth. Obviously a new brawler, so a lot of teams are still treading water, figuring out if he's good or not. And I think he's a worthwhile pick. I see the appeal. We haven't seen it always been the most insane brawler of the month. I wouldn't necessarily call him an MVP so far, but I'm definitely willing to change my mind. He's definitely been a little hit or miss throughout the weekend, though.
Okay, a bit of an early barley pick from Wash team, and now they get to finish this thing off. How are they going to address the RT is a huge consideration. It's what we were just talking about. But I wonder if he's so fresh that we're not exactly sure how to deal with him just yet. Just play the ranged matchup against him for now. And so far, I'm not really seeing a whole lot of long-range brawlers from Wash team. And speak of the devil, here's Piper as a final selection from Wash team. Once again, though, they have to be careful because Piper gets countered by really anything that can effectively get in close range versus her. Now, she does have that gadget that auto-aims and knocks people back, stuns them a little bit, slows them a little bit, but I still think that West Coast FA need to play that carefully considering they are playing into Betiches and Frixie. Departing your back lines to go in on Pain means that Chepo and Shine are vulnerable to getting teleported in on.
And the final pick is going to be the Squeak. I have my fingers crossed that we might see Dynamite. It's a very rare occasion that we see all 5 brawlers get involved, or 5 throwers, of course, being involved in our draft, 3 of them being banned. And again, I can't say it enough, Barley stock has risen, Dynamite stock has risen. Before in the competitive meta, we kind of had a Tick, Grom, and Sprout world for the most part, but now we're seeing the point of these indestructible walls being so valuable to teams that they're willing to put in Barley, that they're willing to take the chance with Dynamite. It's made it a lot more fun. I always love a very versatile meta where a lot of different things show up. So this will be really interesting. We get the new brawler on the field. We get to see Barley, which is of course an older brawler, but one not traditionally played in Knockout. Let's see what happens.
Let us see indeed. Washed team with the Barley up mid. Shine and Frixie have pretty similar range here too, which is going to make this very stalematey. As you can see, yep, this is going to be all day long, endless. But I think that Shine's reload speed might be a bit faster than Frixie's, which will allow him to push up a little bit more significantly. We also see Frixie changing lanes on the right side. Chepo also trying to keep things at bay, marking up Betiches, not getting a whole lot of extra damage off that so far because the footsies are so intense, but West Coast FA are pushing up significantly on that left side. Pain has yet to get a super. Second healing herbal tonic out from Frixie. And no major moves just yet, but Pain could be up next on the chopping block as Counter is diffing him so hard on this lane.
Love this gadget coming in from Shine as RT is approaching. Here comes the fiery flutter of bottles. He's serving them up, but not any kills. It's going to be West Coast picking up a couple here. And alone Frixie is likely going to be the final one to follow. One more tag will do the trick, but my man's dodging pretty well.
A little slimy here on the back lines, but the end result is still the same. Shine still gets a last laugh on Frixie as he also charges up his supers. That's 1, 2, 3 count of supers for West Coast FA and only 1 for Wash Team. Could be breaking open walls, but I don't really know if that's the best option for Wash Team at the moment. Frixie needs these walls in order to survive. We also see Pain. He's yet to get that super. It's been denied so hard by Counter, one time after the next.
For now, it's going to be Frixie throwing down some more shots with his super. Piper forced away. The herbal tonic going to have to rely on being enough. Oh my goodness, so close to going down. They've somehow dodged this far. Chepo just kind of holding the line right now. They've got him pinned. There's one pickup looking for a second, but Pain with the sneaky TP. 37 HP though, and Chepo walking it in.
Now and early. It is match point incoming, favoring West Coast FA. Wash Team, they've gotten a little inventive with the draft, but it's not working in their favor so far.
Traditionally, Barley is a pretty good counter into somebody like Squeak too. Throwers can do all right. You know, Squeak can get through those walls, but ultimately he's got the indestructible ones. I think that's something that Frixie just hasn't been able to capitalize quite as much. I think that's just credit to Shine, Chepo, and Counter, who played really well. Tuchez was trying to hunt for a kill on this left-hand side. Couldn't quite find the shots necessary, though. Everybody just kind of going back and forth. Shine utilizing those gadgets so well. For now, it's going to be each side looking for their first kill.
I want to focus on Counter primarily because he is just repeatedly bullying Pain on this matchup. There's just nothing Pain can do. He's able to yank back Shine, and there's a curve shot onto Shine too, but it's not enough to shut him down. He even has that spooky boy hovering overhead. Betiches jumps away. Frixie's locked in with Chepo, who just easily gets out of that super into the second form. Betiches tries to take down that second form as it's been left in the backlines, but Chepo knows, yeah, I'm Jackie now. Let's have fun with it. But his base is going to start taking damage from that poison. Does he know? Did he remember? Looks like it wasn't even a consideration because the pinch was just that strong.
One more round and West Coast FA will be in a grand finals for our month number 2. It's going to take a lot here. Wash Team certainly just haven't looked as good as West Coast in this set. We're going to have to see a huge turnaround, a nice comeback, but another gadget for Shine is going to make it tough for them to walk forward.
This Wash Team's lifeline, this one round, decides whether they have yet more to go in this competition or whether West Coast FA close it out now and a lot earlier than we expected. Chepo on the left side, contending this time with Pain, dealing major damage, and Pain has to pop the emergency super. And Frixie's able to heal him up, luckily. He has the last call at the ready. That super with a bit of room. Betiches now with a curve shot in versus Counter. He has none left. He needs to line up these shots. Pain also can teleport onto the left side, restore a bit of health. Shine now, big value there on the super as he connects with Frixie, who goes down. Teleport in from Betiches, and he pops the pop in immediately after, but it's enough to get a takedown and the final bit of damage.